Let me ask you something. Where is your awareness right now? Not your thoughts, not your beliefs. Your raw, unfiltered awareness, the silent space in which everything appears. If you're like most, you'd say it's in your head. But what if I told you that's the oldest illusion you've ever believed? What if I told you that your consciousness isn't inside your body at all, but that your body exists inside your consciousness? Stay with me. Because when researchers like Valerie Hunt measured the human biofield, they found something impossible. The field responded to stimuli before the brain registered it, not after. Before. And she said something that rewired everything. The mind's not in the brain. It's in that darn field. Let that land. Your mind isn't trapped in your skull. It's woven into the quantum field, the living fabric of space-time itself. Your thoughts don't originate in neurons. They emerge from a field that's non-local, intelligent, and already whole. And if that's true, and every experiment in quantum physics confirms it, then you are not a human trying to access consciousness. You are consciousness having a human experience. This is the final stage of awakening, not enlightenment as a destination, but recognition as a collapse of identity. You don't attain oneness. You stop pretending you were ever separate. Most spiritual paths prepare you for this, but very few cross the threshold. Why? Because the final stage isn't about adding more light. It's about dissolving the last illusion of the observer. You see, for years you've practiced meditation to quiet the mind, visualization to shape reality, heart coherence to align with the field. And it worked, partially, because those practices assume a you that's doing the aligning, a separate self tuning into something greater. But in the final stage, there is no you tuning in, there is only the field experiencing itself. This isn't philosophy. It's quantum physics meeting mystical truth. When physicist William Tiller studied the human energy field, he didn't call it an aura. He called it the subtle template, a structured, information-rich field that precedes and patterns physical matter. Your body isn't the source, it's the holographic projection. Think of it like this: a 3D printer doesn't invent the object. It reads a digital file and forms matter from it. Your physical body is the printout, your energy field is the file, and your consciousness, it's the programmer. Except it's not you programming it. It's the field programming itself through you. This is where everything shifts. For decades, you've tried to manifest by visualizing outcomes. You imagined wealth, love, health. You felt the emotions. You believed. And sometimes it worked, but often it felt fragile, like building a sandcastle against the tide. Why? Because you were working from the symptom level, not the source level. Tiller discovered that disease begins in the field weeks or months before it appears physically. Not because of germs alone, but because of repeated thought-emotion patterns that distort the hologram. But here's the radical truth. Healing and creation flows top-down. Dr. Richard Gerber, in his work on vibrational medicine, mapped the human field into layers: the mental body, thoughts, beliefs; the astral body, emotions; the etheric body, energetic blueprint; the physical body, dense matter. And he found something astonishing. Healing at the mental level creates longer-lasting change than healing at any lower level. Why? Because the mental body templates the astral, which templates the etheric, which templates the physical, change the thought pattern, and the entire cascade realigns. But, and this is crucial, not all thoughts are equal. A passing thought has little power, but a repeated, emotionally charged thought that becomes a standing wave in the field, a stable pattern the body must obey. This is why trauma imprints so deeply. In crisis, your emotional intensity is high, your focus is absolute, and whatever meaning you assign to the event, I'm unsafe, I'm unworthy, the world is dangerous, gets burned into the field with laser precision. The body doesn't argue, it simply rebuilds from that blueprint. But here's the liberation. The same mechanism that creates disease can create miracles. If a thought held with fear can manifest illness, then a thought held with coherence can manifest wholeness. And this is where most miss the mark. They visualize for 10 minutes a day, then spend 10 hours in anxiety, worry, or self-doubt. The field doesn't care about your 10-minute session. It responds to your dominant frequency. So the question isn't, do you believe? It's what frequency are you broadcasting 90% of the time? Now, let's go deeper. Benjamin Libet's famous experiment revealed something unsettling. Your brain initiates action 0.35 seconds before you're consciously aware of deciding. Your unconscious moves first. Your conscious mind just narrates it afterward. Combine this with Hunt's discovery. The field responds before the brain. What does this mean? Your self isn't in control. The deeper mind, the field mind, is already choosing. Your conscious thoughts are like ripples on the surface of an ocean. The real current flows beneath. And this is the final surrender. In the last stage of awakening, you stop trying to steer the field. You stop using coherence to get what you want. You stop performing alignment. Instead, you become the stillness in which the field moves. You realize there is no you, separate from the quantum ocean, no observer apart from the observed. The wave doesn't observe the ocean. It is the ocean. This is what Thoth meant in the Emerald Tablet. That which is above is like that which is below, not as poetry, as operating instructions. The universe isn't out there. It's in here as the field within which your body appears. And when you fully embody this, not as an idea, but as a lived reality, something shifts. You no longer manifest from lack. You express from wholeness. You don't attract love. You radiate it because love is the natural state of the field. You don't heal the body. You allow it to reflect the coherence already present in the blueprint. This is the end of seeking, because in the final stage you see clearly there is nothing to attain, only the illusion of separation to dissolve. And it happens not through effort but through recognition. One moment you're trying to become the field, the next you realize you never were anything else. The body breathes, the heart beats, thoughts arise and fall, but the awareness in which all this happens, it was never born. It will never die. It simply is, vast, silent, and already free. This is why the final stage feels like coming home, not because you've gained something new, but because you've stopped losing yourself in the story of separation. You stop identifying as the wave. And remember, you are the ocean. Now let's talk about what this looks like in daily life. It doesn't mean you float above problems. It means you engage with them from wholeness, not lack. When fear arises, you don't fight it. You feel it fully, knowing it's just energy moving through the field. When a challenge appears, you don't ask, how do I fix this? You ask, what is this revealing about the blueprint? You stop seeing illness as an enemy. You see it as data, a pattern in the field, asking for attention. And your response isn't panic, it's precision. You return to your heart, you breathe into coherence, you re-inform the field with a new pattern. I am whole, I am safe, I'm already enough, not as a wish, as a declaration of what's already true. Because here's the secret no one tells you. The field doesn't respond to desire, it responds to assumption. When you assume wholeness deep in your cells, the field rearranges reality to match. This is why the final stage isn't about doing. It's about being so completely that doing flows from it effortlessly. You don't create your reality. You allow the field to express its inherent perfection through you. And this brings us to the most beautiful paradox. The more you realize you are the field, the more compassion you feel for those who still believe they're separate, because you see clearly their suffering isn't real. It's a misperception, a temporary ripple in the ocean. And your role isn't to fix them, it's to be the stillness that reminds them of their own nature. This is service, not from ego, but from oneness. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. If you are the field, why do you still experience limitation? Because awakening isn't instantaneous at all levels. Your consciousness may recognize its true nature, but your nervous system, your cells, your ancestral patterns, they take time to catch up. This is where patience meets practice. You hold the vision of wholeness. You broadcast coherence daily, and you trust the ratchet effect, knowing that each moment of alignment is reprogramming the blueprint. Tiller found that when people consistently held a coherent mental image of health, the field shifted, even when the physical body hadn't caught up yet. The change was already real in the template. The body just needed time to regenerate from it. This is faith, not blind belief. Evidence-based trust in the physics of consciousness. So when your body aches, or your bank account is low, or your heart feels heavy, you don't deny it, you anchor deeper, you return to the truth. This is a temporary expression of an old pattern. My true nature is already whole, and in that moment, you become the field's healing agent. Now, let's talk about time. In the final stage, you realize time is also a field phenomenon. The past isn't gone. It's encoded in the implicate order, the deeper layer of reality Tiller described. Your traumas aren't over. They're standing waves in the field, still radiating influence. But here's the liberation. You can reinform them. In deep coherence, you can access those old patterns. Not to relive them, but to bathe them in present moment awareness. You don't change the event. You change its emotional charge. And when you do, the ratchet effect reverses. The pattern dissolves upward, from physical to etheric to astral to mental, until it vanishes from the blueprint entirely. This is true healing, not symptom management, source resolution. And it's available to you right now. All you need is coherence and the courage to stop resisting what is, because resistance is what keeps the old patterns alive. Acceptance, not resignation, but radical allowing, is what sets them free. Now, I know what your mind is saying. This sounds beautiful, but how do I live it? Start here, each morning before the world hijacks your frequency. Sit in stillness. Place your hands on your heart. Breathe as if air flows through your chest. For 3 minutes, don't visualize an outcome. Assume your wholeness. Feel the calm of belonging, not because life is perfect, but because you are home in yourself. Feel the joy of being, not because you've achieved, but because existence itself is celebration. This isn't manifestation. It's remembering. And when you do this consistently, something miraculous happens. The field stops waiting for your permission. It simply expresses itself through you as healing, as synchronicity, as love. You stop being a channel. You become the source. And this is the final gift of awakening. You realize you were never separate from the divine. You were never broken, never lost, never unworthy. You were always the field, playing hide and seek with itself for the sheer joy of remembering. So breathe, feel, rest. There's nothing more to do, nothing more to become. You are already the final stage,